The Council Chamber of Velkath Prime. The elder Velkathi, High Archivist Sorbin, pressed 4 of his 6 limbs together in the ancient gesture of scholarly dismissal. "Humans," he announced to the packed council chamber, his bioluminescent frills flickering with amusement. "Our folklore. A cautionary tale told to hatchlings who refuse to sleep." The assembled delegates of the Galactic Concord murmured in agreement. 14 species, spanning 47 star systems, had long since catalogued every known sentient race in the galaxy. Humans appeared in none of their verified records, only in ghost signals, degraded transmissions, and the fever dreams of fringe xenologists. The so-called Earth transmissions are cosmic background noise interpreted by desperate academics, Torvin continued, rolling his obsidian eyes. "I move that we formally close the human question and strike it from the Concord's research agenda permanently." The vote was nearly unanimous. Nearly. The outpost at the galaxy's edge. Junior Signal Officer Preethi Naylor, a young Tyson with copper-tipped antenna and a reputation for insubordination, was the only delegate who had voted against the motion. She was also, at this precise moment, the only being in the Concord staring at what her instruments were telling her. She rechecked the readings, then rechecked them again. Then she opened a channel directly to High Archivist Sorbin, bypassing 17 layers of bureaucratic protocol. "Archivist," she said, her voice unusually flat, "you'll want to see Grid Sector 001. Whatever it is, Phyla. Now, Archivist." A pause. Sorbin had never heard a junior officer use that tone. It was the tone of someone who had just watched the ground disappear beneath their feet. He looked at her feed. Emerging from the dark boundary of uncharted space, slowly, deliberately, filling the sensor grid like ink spreading through water, were ships. Thousands of them. Enormous, angular, bristling with technology the Concord's databases could not classify. Each vessel bore markings in a script that Preethi's translation matrix flagged with a single, galaxy-shaking word. Earth. The Concorde scrambled. 14 species erupted into panic, prayer, and preparation. Defense fleets launched. Diplomats were roused from sleep. Ancient mythology databases were suddenly the most accessed files on the Concorde's network. But the human armada did not attack. It stopped. Precisely at the border of Concorde space, it simply waited. Then a single transmission came through. Clean, polite, and in perfect Velkathi standard, as though they had been studying the Concorde's languages for a very long time. "This is Admiral Yusuf Adebayo of the Terran Exploration Navy. We've been trying to reach you for about 300 years. Your border relays kept ignoring our signals. We understand. We saw the vote this morning. Bit awkward, that. We'd like to talk, if you're open to it. We've brought coffee." "We're told no one else in the galaxy has coffee, and we're very willing to use that as a diplomatic advantage." The truth of the myth. Admiral Yusuf Adebayo was not what the Concorde expected. He was tall, unhurried, and wore the calm expression of a man who had rehearsed this moment 10,000 times during a 3-century journey across dead space. He sat across from High Archivist Sorbin in the emergency diplomatic suite aboard the Concorde's neutral station. Between them sat 2 steaming cups of something that smelled, to Sorbin, like burnt soil and inexplicable hope. "We found your earliest transmissions 400 years ago," Yusuf said. "Back when we could barely leave our own solar system. We've spent every generation since then building ships capable of reaching you." Sorbin's frills went pale. "You crossed dead space? The unmapped void? In slower than relay drives?" "We didn't have relay drives." Yusuf smiled. "We had stubbornness." Sorbin stared at the human for a long geological moment. Then he looked at the cup between his hands. "The myths," he said slowly, "described humans as creatures who did impossible things not because they could, but because someone told them they couldn't. Yusuf picked up his coffee. Sounds about right. Epilogue, the new record. High Archivist Sorbin filed a correction to the Concord's official records that evening. Under the entry for Homo sapiens, previously marked mythological, unverified, he typed a single updated classification. Verified. Persistent. Handle with curiosity. Then, for the first time in 400 years of academic life, he tried something that had no entry in any Concord database. He took a sip of coffee. It tasted, he decided, exactly like a species that refused to be a myth.